Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of FoolCraft. I want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you for all the lovely feedback on the previous video. I've taken your advice and I've decided to turn this tower into a giant cobblestone box. And I've got to say, it's a huge improvement on what we had last time, right? Right? Hi! Welcome back to FoolCraft, where there'll be plenty of trolling. Oh no, this is a spoiler wall. Hello! Things have been spawning inside of there. Oh dear, we turned it into a mob farm accidentally. I wanted to do it like this, man. I wanted to reveal it with the vein miner. Waha, this should be the last bit of it. Bam! So that is a spoiler wall because I did a live stream and now this is happening. And that's kind of irritating because my inventory... Ooh, what did we throw on the ground? Cobblestone. Okay. My inventory is kind of a mess and I'm talking about this stuff over here. This thing is full to the brim. Can't put any more items in it. And the refined storage system keeps freaking out and doing some weird things, and it's kind of a huge mess at the moment. And we're gonna walk away and leave this place, man. For this episode, we are going to the City of Maybe. Aha! And in here, I've already done some work because there was a spoiler rule, right? And that's because I was streaming, and during that stream, I made the preparations to start work on our building, which is behind me right now. I gotta say, this thing looking pretty cool, right? I like it. Now, the theme here is supposed to be like a 1920s American downtown, somewhere like Chicago. I believe the color palette that I have here may be a little bit darker than what you'd expect. Behind us, we have the gold standard over here, Mr. B00 doing his building magic and coming up with something that really is just setting the standard right there. So I've kind of worked off of what he's got going on just a little bit here, trying to figure out what blocks I should use and what kind of shapes we've got going. So everything at the moment is very blocky, very square, and if we take a look at B-dubs over here, you'll see that he's doing all sorts of chisel and bits detail, and that is going to be huge. It's going to be huge to getting this looking like, you know, a next level build. So down the bottom here you will see some big ugly squares, and we are going to chisel all sorts of bits like this. We're also going to throw in loads of little details like bricks that pop out slightly and ones that are indented, little trims around the bottom. We're going to indent the glass, so many things. But this is the general design right here, and we spent a fair bit of time during a live stream. And I'll plug my second channel and say if you want to go watch that live stream, you can find a link to the second channel in the description box down below where it is uploaded to. Right now though, there's one more thing that I want to do before we crack on with this, before we say, yep, this is what we're after, and that is the colour. I think the basalt might be a little bit aggressive. So you can see over here that with the white, B-dubs has mixed some like reddish brown and some very brown stuff. And over here is the supposed build palette for the entire project. There is bricks, there is this sort of muddy looking colour right here. You've got bleached bone brick. Then we have sandy brick, that's what B-dubs used, and over here hardened clay as well. I'm quite interested in this one, so I'm going to take a while to think about these materials, which one we're going to try, but I think the important thing to do before we move on any further with this project is to replace the basalt with something else and just feel if it'll fit into this theme a little better. So we need to add some curves to this shop front right here. We got chisel and bits, we want to put it to use, and what I've done is gone for the grid size. What one's this? Half size cube. I always call those eighth blocks because there's 8 of them in a cube. But anyway, that's kind of what it looks like with that, and I think that's the direction we're going to go in with. I also sort of moved in a little bit on the glass. I'm not sure if I like that or not. It kind of works. We need to push the glass back though. There's a lot of stuff that's going to go on here. And then around on this corner I decided to take it to the next level, which is called the quarter size cube, although I'd call that... Actually, I'm not sure how many make up a full block, so... Maths. I'm not good at doing it on the fly, okay? But I was thinking that shape looked kind of ugly, and maybe if you round off the edges so you get more of a curve going on, it would look nicer. And that's probably true, but I don't think curves of that nature are what we're going for here. So we will go with this, and that's just one thing I've done so far. The reason I've hit record though is because another building has popped up behind me. Check it out. I believe this was Good Times with Scott, and I gotta say, this is absolutely gorgeous, really well put together, and we need to take some lessons from what we're seeing here, like these little borders going around the glass. That really helps add like an extra link between the two textures. There's little details like this on the edge here. And these little things that hold up this. I mean, there's so much to be learned from this. And this one right here is from Architectural Craft. Maybe we should use a few of those blocks ourselves. But that is a beautiful storefront right there, and we need to take some lessons from it, that's for sure. But I'm not going to waffle on anymore. I'm going to try and implement some ideas here and get this looking a little nicer. So much has changed, yet it all kind of looks the same a little bit, but we'll go through the details here. First of all, the windows have been put in place, and when there isn't a blue sky behind them, that's probably going to look a lot nicer. Now, those windows made me realise the ones down the bottom here are not right. We need to change it over for something like this, because this is much more open and you can look in. And this is a shop floor, so when you walk past, you want to be able to look in and really get a sense of what's on display. And then all these things up here are going to be like offices and such, so those windows being a little bit more blocked off kind of makes sense. Now, like on the other side, I've gone and adjusted all of this, so we're on these grid snapped blocks, the half ones as they were called, and it's kind of looking reasonable. But now I've started to focus on what's going on around this area. So if we go back to this side, this is the old texture that we had here, and it doesn't really translate when you start to mess around with the different block sizes, and that's because the texture just doesn't line up with the size of the block, and this looks kind of ugly. So simplifying it, I changed over to a different texture, and then I thought it would need like a strip of something underneath, and that's just basalt. And actually from down here, I think it adds a little bit too much black to the build, and surprisingly this looks really good, and I think it's because the texture just lines up ever so well with what we're doing there. So I don't think there's actually any need for that stuff, and basically we'll get rid of it using this right here. But if we look over on this side, you can see moving up, we've got what's like the upside down stairs, and then we've got what's like a slab on the wall. And I can't make up my mind about those two. I've got a feeling I'm going to settle on this one because it'll look more uniform overall. And when you get to the top, that looks a lot nicer than that does, in my opinion. Now, my other thought at the moment is, can we then wrap this around the side here without it looking too odd? Because it's the same colour, it's... And I would just happen to run out of blocks while I'm recording, you know. Oh, preparations need to be made. Anyway, so have I got that in my hotbar? The answer is no. You're forever tweaking around with your inventory when you're building with these blocks. So that sort of looks okay. I'm starting to wonder if this should be white instead of... Well, I just did that, but there is an undo button. There's also a place one. Yeah, this might need to be white. It might need to be that texture in order for that to work. Oh my goodness me, this thing has popped up as well. Oh man, I'm always trying to improve as a builder, and being surrounded by great builders is obviously a good thing, but every time I take a step forward, someone nearby takes a giant leap, and that is absolutely gorgeous. Well, this kind of ties into something that I wanted to do next anyway. These little details right here, that's really important. That's something I was going to look at next. Once we've got all of this thing finalized, like how can we add in little shapes and details to break up these flat walls? So we're going to do something similar, and I guess I got some inspiration there. But I'm actually starting to run out of this type of brick, which is quarried brick, and I can't find it in the world. I don't know where to get it from, and our community supply is starting to run a little bit low. Although Iskow added something over here, okay? There is this awesome furnace that smelts stuff super quick down here, and I'm just wondering if he also moved over any... Aha, this! Right, so that... Oh, look at that. Okay, that's awesome. Because I knew he had like a refined storage system somewhere around here for community builds, so I can chuck that in there. Aha, and this is how we make that texture. Well, that is excellent. That's good to know that I'm not going to run out of the materials I need. And did you see how fast that thing was, man? Very cool. So I'm taking a quick plunge into the nether, and if you've never seen it before, you can find these fellas, giant spiders out here, which is kind of hilarious. Look at those eyes, ridiculous. And, ooh, are they... I thought they were imps at first, but no, these are the... Nitro creepers, aha! And the ocelot on my hotbar is freaking them out, and one of them has now exploded. Let's get away from those spiders, they're kind of pesky. I'm here to pick up some soul sand and also some netherrack as well. The reason why... Bam, there we go. Oh, and my inventory's full, and now the lava's destroying all of that. Let's just talk about while we're here, rather than trying to do this stuff on camera. So Railcraft has a lot of nice blocks. We are using... this quarried brick down here. There's also the bleached one, and then I noticed this one right here, the infernal block, which is a little less dark than the basalt that we're using. Oh, what's this one? Abyssal brick over here. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure how you make this one, but I looked it up on the wiki, and then I realised, of course, you can look it up in this game as well. Aha, there it is right there. So soul sand and nether brick. Oh, I thought it was netherrack. Okay, well, the wiki I was looking at is outdated. Well, that's a good thing then we came here then, isn't it? So what about this abyssal stone? It's made from abyssal cobblestone. Maybe that's something you just find in the world. Yeah, I'm not sure at that point. But anyway, let's grab ourselves some soul sand. There's some right there. And we're also going to go to another fortress. Oh no. Oh dear. This, I think, is a nicer texture. I'm overreacting here. I've only placed down one block and already I'm thinking, we're going to have to replace the whole thing. Even that little bit alone, I think that's a nicer texture. I think that texture is going to fit in way better with what we're trying to do here. And I will actually endeavour to replace all of this, but not in this episode, because that would be absolutely bonkers, I think. Maybe I'll just do the bits down the bottom here, but I could do that during a live stream. I could go around and replace everything, and luckily we haven't done a crazy amount of chisel and bits on the basalt texture, so I think swapping it over to that one, yeah, is a lot smarter. Although I do like how the texture is different, right? Because they're kind of the same texture, just different colour. We'll see how this goes, actually. Maybe I'm sort of rushing into this one a little. Maybe I'll change my mind at some point about it. But anyway, you can see that I put in some walls at the back there. That took a bit of time, but it is... Is it all done? I think we might actually be short on something. Yes, and I just went exploring the world and found some patches of this stuff so we can finish that up. And then around on this side, what I've been trying to do next is the windows. And I really don't have too much of an opinion on what to go with here. So I'll probably leave this for now, but there's a border there on the inside, a border here on the outside. Tried adding a trim across the bottom, did this sort of big thing on the inside. Actually, the more that that's been there, the more I've grown to like it. I think I might go with that one, actually. Yeah, I think we'll go with that for the windows. That's quite nice. Now, the next step is to evaluate what we want to do with these ones, because I've changed this over to the other texture that matches that bit, and I'm thinking actually these shapes here around the window and the door, I want to remove the stone. I want to replace it with something else, so we're going to try a few different textures there, and then we need to load this thing up with these sorts of details. And I've got to be honest, I'm struggling. I'm not sure how to go about doing stuff like this, and of course I don't want to imitate it directly, but this is where I saw that infernal block and I thought, oh, this is like basalt but slightly brown, not as dark, and it looks pretty cool. And maybe because that's not the brick texture, is it? Maybe the one that we should go with is this texture. Alright, let's do one more swap out here. I know, I'm terrible, but I would like to just check this out and see what it looks like. So we're going to whack a load of that in there. Ooh, I think that could work. I think that might be the way to move forward here. So I was looking for something a little different down the bottom here. I did just mention this, didn't I? Let's vein mine that away. I always get a little bit terrified doing the vein mine because it might be connected to more blocks than I realise. I guess that would be the entrance down there. And we've got 4 blocks left, so not complete. But I think that's going to end up looking better. And I was taking a step back and I was thinking, is this better than the basalt, really? I couldn't make up my mind. I think it's a nicer texture, and I think it's better that it's not as dark, but it really doesn't change the overall feel of the building. So as you can see, I tried this down here. Yeah, I reckon this is actually the material that we should be using down at this level. I just did a very bad thing, and I know why it happened, okay? I have to reassemble these blocks because they fill up my chisel bag, and then I vein mine them away, but it instant mined it, and then it mined all of the chisel and bits blocks below it, and now I have basically a jigsaw piece to put back together. Why did this have to happen? Man, that is a mighty fine looking building, and I know to you guys in this episode it hasn't really changed much so far from start to end, but all the details have really pulled this together ever so well. You can even see that I've used some of these blocks down the back here, and I think that just makes the alley look a little bit more interesting. False is on the server, by the way, and she's going to be my neighbour. She's got a 25 by 25 plot going on over here, and she's agreed to just put it right up against the side of this building, which is fantastic because I don't want to do a ton of detail work here. I want this to just sort of be, you know, part of an alley, and there's going to be an alley that goes around both sides, which is going to be really cool. So here's the windows. That texture, the one down there again, is being used, and I think that looks really good. I also did a little tweak up the top here with the basalt, which looks very nice. And then down below you can see that we have this for a little bit of detail outside the front, a strip going around the bottom. And I don't really see too many places to put more details. I think things like emblems and such, little whatevers that could go on the front of a block would be good around here. And I am thinking about a logo at the moment, but where it is with my day right now, I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to record anymore. But so far this has gone absolutely amazing. The ideas are flowing right now, and if you notice any changes, I have absolutely no idea what I've been doing because I haven't really been thinking, but stuff like tidying up the inside a little bit. Oh, that's right, I was going to build an alleyway. I was going to throw down some boxes on the side here, and then I got distracted with another idea. And False's building is looking really cool, and I was hoping that it would go right up against the side of our building to hide all of this. But actually, I don't know if this is going to be as tall as it is. I think it might be a really cool opportunity to then throw down some signs or something in that space. So when you're walking down the street, it's kind of used as an advertisement. That's going to look so cool. But speaking of advertising, what I've done over here is I've taken some regular basalt and I've created this shape going across. And now what we're going to do on the edge of this 2 blocks, which I've sort of designated, is apparently do that. That's not what I was trying to do. Is this the right one? It's always hard to tell. Yep, that's the right one, and it's grid snapped, okay? So if we click there, it kind of creates this shape, this like 1 block little thing around the outside. Now I'm wondering if anyone's guessed what this is, because I haven't said what it is yet. It's going to be an advertisement. It's going to be like an old sign. So if you go and look up 1920s, which is what this is themed on, shop fronts, you'll see that a lot of shop fronts have this typical old style text, which might be quite hard to replicate, and a lot of signs on the front of buildings and occasionally coming off the side of them. What we're going to do is put one here and copy that and place it all the way over on that one there as well. And then we're going to have something that hangs down and has the name of the shop on it, which I am yet to reveal, but if you've been watching the series, you've probably got a pretty good idea of what I'm going to get up to here. So I'm really not sure. I think draw region might be best here. And wow, this can be so finicky sometimes. We want to make this thing actually kind of thin. So I think we want to focus on the 2 blocks in the middle. Okay, and then go across, and I believe that is them. Yep, that's the 2 blocks in the middle. Okay, so then we go to the connected pane, and we bring it down like this. I am really getting into this. I can see how the time can just sort of sink away when you're doing chisel and bits. Now that looks really cool, but I think to make it pop a little bit more, we should just bring it out by 1 block, just that bit there. And I had a feeling it might do that, so I believe that means I've got to use the draw region again. So this might be overdoing it a little bit. In fact, already as soon as I place down these crates, I've definitely put down too many crates, but I don't actually think they suit the alleyway very much. I think what we need is Scar to make some really cool things like trash cans and whatnot, and get some custom stuff in there because it doesn't quite fit the theme. But I'm going to leave that there for now. Also, this bit is to be made out of this material, but I don't know how to obtain it. And the inside of our shop is not actually going to have this. I got some really cool plans on how to do the interior, and I cannot wait to get started. But next episode, I don't know if we'll be working on this again or we'll be doing something else. Also, this is how this looks. I've got an amazing name for this shop, and I don't think I'm going to reveal it until we're ready to kind of like open up the inside area and start accepting customers. But I believe the outside is pretty much done. I want to make some sort of logo or emblem to go on here, on that space, and the same one to appear there. We've got to copy our sign across, but otherwise I think the outside is pretty much done and it looks amazing. I'm so happy with how this has turned out. It is going very well. We've got an amazing project going on here in the city of Maybe, and I hope you're enjoying the FoolCraft series. But yes, that is it from me this episode. If you have enjoyed it, leave a like. As always, I say thank you for your support, and I will see you in the next one. So ciao for now. Bye-bye.